Hey everybody, Chris here, and today we're going to be performing the operation that makes the entire Grand Tour possible, and that is refueling using the Kethane pack. We have our large lander, the Coconut, and it is going to go down to the surface of the world that we're orbiting. It's going to bring up or bring up from the ground some Kethane, convert it into the fuel that we need to continue our mission, and then do that enough times to fill the minnow, and so we can continue on our way. It's a pretty large lander. It's so large, in fact, that I underestimated the size of Kethane deposit I would need to fill it up, and wasn't able to do it with one. So this little suborbital hop is to actually find a second Kethane supply. So you can also notice in this that I'm flying these landings myself, which has been pretty much filled with comedy because I am learning how to do it. In this one, you see my little hopscotch along the surface because I really do. I am not quite figured out how to zero out, get my horizontal velocity just to zero. So now we're full. We're gonna go ahead and take off from the surface. In future missions, or future videos, I probably won't be showing all of the comings and goings of our refueling craft because that would be incredibly dull. It's fun to fly it, but probably not so much fun to watch it. But I thought that this time, at least this first time, it would be instructive just to show you that it can be done. You can bring up a generous amount of fuel to the minnow so we can continue our mission. We came down with I think that the Coconut can land on the moon at least with about 3,000 liters of liquid fuel, and it gets up to the minnow with almost 14,000 liquid fuel and 64,000 Kethane. And so it's a pretty good little tanker for bringing stuff back from the surface. Yeah, and so we're going to use the maneuver node system and get a rendezvous. For anyone who is new to docking and rendezvousing in the system, I have to say that I really do like the new mechanical jeb. Really because it's not just a kind of a fire and forget system. It does have a lot of, it'll do a lot of the same automation that it would do before, but it also it helps you set up maneuver nodes that are repetitive because, I don't need to set up every plane change maneuver in order to find happiness. I can let the computer do some of that stuff because I've set up a lot of plane change maneuvers. And intercept maneuvers and other ones like that. And so just simply being able to have it set up the maneuver and then I can fly them myself is great. And it's a great teaching tool. So I would encourage anyone who's trying to learn the system to definitely check it out. So we get a pretty close approach here, and then we're going to dock with the minnow. As soon as we're docked, we're going to transfer all that fuel down, and then we're going to go ahead and undock again in order to continue, doing this refueling mission. And yeah, so we go ahead and pull the minnow away. We're going to deorbit, land, refuel. That whole process will happen again. And it's it is what it is. More of me landing goofily. And oh yeah, and then we have the Gilligan. So our rover is slung on the underside, or I guess the stern of our minnow interplanetary vessel, and it's a cool little rover. It can get up to about 45 meters per second on the surface of the moon. We'll see how it goes in other planets. I did lose actually 2 wheels during this whole thing. Hopefully, I don't lose too many more because then I'll have to find a way to replace it, which should be a lot of fun. Same basic, approach here as I did with the Coconut. It's I didn't necessarily launch my ships very well this time around. Like choosing my launch windows to intercept their parent vessel. I could have done a better job of timing that, and yeah, it's interesting that I didn't. Looking back at this video. Um, same kind of rendezvous maneuver. Oh, one thing to note is I don't know if I noted this in other videos already, but in the first version of the Gilligan, the one with the older Omni wheels, we had no reaction control system, so we actually weren't able to conduct the docking entirely from the Gilligan. But now we do have reaction control. We have plenty of monoprop. We have about yeah, about 160 monopropellant, which is plenty for this docking maneuver. And it's a cool rover in the fact that I think I'll be able to take off from almost. It's maybe Lathe is probably the target I won't be able to escape from. But anyway, so yeah. Now that we're back on the surface, we're fully fueled in the coconut for the last time, getting ready to go on our way. And that is what it takes to refuel the minnow for our next leg of the trip. So speaking of the next leg, I think our next video is probably going to be going to Minmus and then on to Duna. Quick stop at Minmus for maybe a little more fuel and just to poke around. So if you have any comments, feel free to leave them down there. And as always, thanks for watching.